CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Now on the afternoon edition, a minor meltdown on BART causing major headaches for riders. This was the moment riders at the 12th Street BART station disembarked after their train was rerouted because of a power outage between the Powell and Embarcadero stations. Thanks for being with us this Monday. You can expect more delays as BART service recovers. Red Line and Green Line service was temporarily stopped at around 7 this morning. Service was restored about an hour later. We saw large crowds getting onto the yellow line at the MacArthur station. It was the only line going in and out of San Francisco, and that had limited service. We heard from one rider who said that she was stuck waiting for a train for about an hour.
Well, they should have been more specific this morning because they only indicated a few lines going toward the Richmond. And then when I made it to BART, it affected the whole train line. So it was all destinations. I ride BART every day. So I ride BART from San Francisco all the way to Castro Valley. And this has never happened, for me at least. It never happened before. So this is my first time experiencing this.
Officials have not said yet what led to the power issues, but of course this is just the latest in a string of service disruptions that we've seen in recent weeks. Thousands of people are without power right now in San Francisco. Here is a live look at the PG&E outage map. That huge red area you see there is encompassing the Bayview, Hunters Point, parts of Bernal Heights, and the Mission. This is video of 24th Street in the Mission, where we found traffic lights are out. A bodega there lost power. PG&E says they are working on the problem, and they hope to have power restored by the bottom of the hour. The United Teachers of Richmond resumed their strike against the West Contra Costa Unified School District this morning. Reps for the United Teachers of Richmond met with the district over the weekend to continue their negotiations, but so far, no deal. The Teamsters Union is not joining the picket. Members reached a tentative agreement with the district. Meanwhile, teachers are demanding higher wages and more staffing.
All of our students, no matter where they are, deserve a high-quality education, and high-quality education does not look like 70 vacancies.
The district offered a 3% increase, still falling short of the 5% raise the union wants. The district is also facing a $17 million deficit. Still, the union says it will continue to strike until a deal is in place. Both sides plan to continue negotiations tomorrow.
We are here today because we are still holding the line strong for fully staffed schools.
Yeah, so we will be following this as the district and the union meet again tomorrow to see if they can get any closer to a deal. Another Bay Area school district in peril, Oakland Unified. They're going to vote on plans this week to cut $100 million from their budget for the upcoming school year. That is about 20% of the district's operating budget. If they don't make the required cuts, the district faces the risk of going back into state receivership. District leaders say we can expect these cuts to be painful.
Since most of our budget, 80% of our budget is spent on staffing, by definition, this is going to involve reducing our staffing levels across the board in every position.
The school board is expected to make a decision at its meeting this Wednesday, December 10th. The district has to present a balanced budget to county officials by December 15th. An update on a dive team investigation going on in Oakland. Divers were at Lake Merritt yesterday morning. Authorities confirming that they were looking for a gun that was believed to be used in the killing of a San Francisco strip club manager. They were in the water near Bowdoin Way and Lakeshore Avenue, the northeastern part of the lake. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office was out there helping with the Santa Rosa police investigation. But at this point, no weapon has been found. We covered this story back in October. A chopper flew over the scene in Santa Rosa. Mark Calcagni was found shot to death in a bike lane on Brookwood Avenue in Santa Rosa. But he was a manager of the Condor Club in San Francisco. So a Dublin couple who used to work at the club were arrested in connection with that killing. There's been a lot of shaking going on in the East Bay this morning. 7 small quakes hit around the San Ramon area, same neighborhood. The largest was a 3.7 and happened just after 9 south of the Canyon Lakes Country Club. It was felt as far away as San Francisco and San Jose. There was a 2.9 about an hour later. And then dozens of tiny quakes rattled the same area in San Ramon last month, you might remember, where there is a network of small faults. In Japan, they are assessing the damage right now after a powerful 7.5 magnitude quake hit off the northern coast of Japan. This is video of shaking from a home security camera. More than 20 people were injured, and this triggered a tsunami of about 2.5 feet. A quake hit northeast of Hachigoni, 30 miles below the sea surface. It was 11 p.m. local time, 6 a.m. for us. There is no tsunami threat for Hawaii or the West Coast. Dry, chilly weather around the Bay Area. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch. I don't know, this chill is just not going away.
And it's been record-breaking for some of these days here in the Bay, too. December has been a very chilly month. I want to show you something. Earlier this morning, as we started off the show around 6 a.m., temperatures all the way over into Antioch were sitting in the low 40s. Watch what happens as I pull up our daytime highs. We're only warming up into the upper 40s today, off into those microclimates. They were dealing with a lot of that Delta Tule fog pulling in from the Sacramento Valley. That stubborn fog has been making an appearance over into Contra Costa and Solano County, and we're seeing that again today, but it's starting to lift and it will pull back into the afternoon hours today. How wild, though, is it that we're dealing with 60s along the coast, 40s off into our inland spots? Such a major extreme, actually, in some of these microclimates. So usually in the summer months, you're seeing triple digits over there and 60s over here. So 50s and 60s fill most of the Bay Area for our forecast today. We'll see a similar trend throughout all this week with dry and chilly weather, like Ann said, pretty much on tap for us as we dive into this weekend. I'll have more on that in a bit. For now, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jess. I'll look at some of our other headlines this afternoon. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting with European leaders today following a weekend of talks with U.S. negotiators on a plan to end the war with Russia. But points of disagreement over the U.S.-backed proposal remain. Natalie Brand has more.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky huddled with leaders of France, Germany, and the UK in London.
We stand with Ukraine. And if there's to be a ceasefire, it needs to be a just and lasting ceasefire.
As negotiations continue over a U.S.-backed peace proposal to end the ongoing war with Russia.
There are some things which we can't manage without Americans, things which we can't manage without Europe.
President Zelensky says the talks with European leaders this week are focusing on security, air defense, and long-term funding for Ukraine. Over the weekend, Russian forces continued to attack. Ukraine says a barrage of drone and missile strikes killed at least 4 people on Sunday. Another hit a residential building, trapping people inside.
Territory has been a key sticking point in the ongoing negotiations. President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law met with Ukrainian negotiators over the weekend following their meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin last week.
I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago.
Speaking to reporters at the Kennedy Center on Sunday, President Trump indicated he doesn't think Zelensky is ready to sign off on a revised peace proposal.
Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky is fine with it. His people love it.
President Zelensky told Bloomberg News that there's disagreement over the eastern Donbas region. He also says any deal must include security guarantees that protect Ukraine from future Russian attacks.
Now to the Caribbean, where the Trump administration is facing new pressure to release video showing a second strike that killed 2 survivors who were clinging to an alleged drug trafficking boat. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is resisting making the video public, saying there's a review underway. There is a growing bipartisan push for answers on Hegseth's role in the follow-up strike, which critics say could be a war crime. Over the weekend, Hegseth defended the administration's efforts to go after so-called narco-terrorists and said the follow-up strike on September 2nd was justified. Now to an escalation in the bidding war for Warner Brothers. Paramount Skydance, the parent company of CBS News Bay Area, has made a $108.5 $1.4 billion hostile bid. That is just days after Netflix agreed to buy part of the corporation in a deal valued at nearly $83 billion. Paramount Skydance says the offer is a better deal for Warner Brothers shareholders because it includes the entirety of Warner Brothers material. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, the 49ers rising amongst the NFC ranks despite a bye week. Tight end George Kittle's message to his team and our Red and Gold report coming up next. Palo Alto could start booting RV dwellers off of city streets after a crucial vote. The city council plans to vote tonight on emergency ordinances to ban detached trailers and what's known as van lording. That is when people rent out RVs on public streets. The ban would take effect immediately with $500 fines for violators. Enforcement could start right away, though critics say the city still hasn't provided enough housing options for people now living in those vehicles. Thousands of people are without power in San Francisco, but we have good news. Most of that has just been restored. So, yes, for thousands of people, that relief just came. It was an outage that was affecting the Bayview, parts of the Mission, Bernal Heights earlier this morning. But again, this is the live look at the outage map, and things are back up to snuff. Back to our first alert weather, taking a live look outside and checking back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
You know, as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, which I'll show you in about a minute or so, I'm excited to show you it. We're not going to see too much of a change this week, but this definitely is seasonably cool for some of our inland areas. Let's head all the way over into the East Bay. Zoom all the way into Antioch real fast. Chase, I want to show you this. 49 degrees today, 52 over in a Concord, Walnut Creek area. It's a chilly day for us. Let's zoom out now and show you the contrast from there all the way over into our coastal communities, holding on tight to 60s in places like Half Moon Bay, 50s all the way up into San Francisco, and it's a mixed bag of 50s and 60s anywhere from Santa Rosa stretched all the way down into our interior areas into the Santa Clara Valley as we head into this afternoon. So a seasonably cool day for us here in the Bay, especially for those inland areas over to the East Bay that have been dealing with that stubborn Tule fog that pulls its way in from the Sacramento Valley. We've been seeing this trend for the past 2 weeks now. This started around Thanksgiving time, and it pulls its way through the Delta, close to Solano County and Contra Costa County with stubborn morning fog that sticks close to the surface level, making it hard to get to work and school in those early morning hours. But that Tule fog starts to bleed off and clear up a bit more as we head into the afternoon hours today before it fills the Bay once again, pulling in from the east. So that's been the trend for us, and we're seeing that trend continue throughout the next 7 days. The good news is, though, we're going to see some sunshine, especially into the Bay, more and more as we head into this week's forecast. Tuesday, a similar trend. Wednesday and Thursday, partly cloudy skies, nothing to write home about. It's still a dry week for us here in the Bay. Then by Friday and Saturday, we're kicking off the weekend with sunny conditions right around the corner. Now, just to tease ahead into next week, as early as next Monday, there is a chance that we could see some more showers in the forecast for us, but that's not yet. For the next 7 days, we remain dry. Of course, those early morning hours when that fog's really dense, it might be a little bit misty, leaving some moisture on your car surface or just on the ground in general. But heading into the afternoon hours, we dry up and warm up pretty quick. Emphasis on the dry, not so much on the warm. We're holding on tight to 50s and 40s each day this week. In our inland areas, we'll have more on that in a bit. Back to you.
Thanks, Jess. The 49ers moved up to 6th in the NFC playoff race, despite not playing this weekend. Now they're ready for a sprint to the finish line. Vern Glenn and Lorenzo Neal have more in our Red and Gold reports.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers, winners of 3 straight, and you know that they are enjoying their bye week. George Kittle had a message for his teammates as they get ready for the 4-game stretch run.
Get away, do whatever you have to do, but just remember when we come back, we have 4 incredibly difficult games that are going to hopefully set us up to do something fun, after the last game.
All right, so here it is, Lo. They got the Titans coming off the bye. Then they go to the Colts on Monday Night Football. Week 17, they host the Bears. And then we conclude with Week 18 against Seattle. If I told you, all right, 3-1, would you take it?
I'll take it. Absolutely, I'll take it. If you told me 3-1, I'd take it. It looks more like a 2-2, but 3-1, that's even better. But right now, I would say, 2-2. Chicago's probably going to be playing for something. Seattle looks like they're playing for something. So those are 2 games that are going to be tough. But those next 2 games, it's going to be critical, especially because the Colts lost their quarterback. And Tennessee Titans right now, they're not getting it done.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
coming up, a boozy way to talk about the universe. We're going to take a look at the space-themed event happening in San Francisco. Astronomy enthusiasts have a chance to talk about cosmos over a Cosmo. Lorena Ayub has more on a bar pop-up where you can really drink in the universe.
As the cold pour hits the glass at the Sycamore in San Francisco, Astronomy on Tap kicks off, blending a little stargazing with a laid-back night at the bar.
Astronomy on Tap is all about making astronomy casual, something that people can interact with in their day-to-day lives, which is how it should be, right? Because we live on a planet, we're in space. It feels abstract, but it should be something concrete.
So concrete that this bar in the Mission has got a packed house.
Good to have you back.
ASA hopes the free, laid-back gatherings will inspire attendees to learn more about the planets and galaxies near and far.
It's all about the cosmic perspective, ultimately, that feeling you get when you look through a telescope and see Saturn's rings for the first time, or if you look up at the night sky with your naked eye and you take this step back from yourself and realize your place in the cosmos.
A deep realization paired with burgers and fries. And it's that very perspective which inspired attendee Rob Summerlin to support the event.
I think space is so incredible and I know very little about it, so I think an opportunity to learn from people who know what they're talking about and can expand my knowledge of the planet I live on and the universe I live on is super cool, and I like the informal atmosphere.
Bartender Dane Dakota, who helped bring the event to the Sycamore, says he was pleasantly surprised with the turnout.
We didn't know what the response was going to be, and all of a sudden there's 60 people staring at you, and they just all want, we inspired them to come down and try our food, try our drinks, and just be around this bar. And a lot of people haven't been here before, so we want them to check out the patio.
The patio overflowing with bar bites and curious minds. ASA hopes these gatherings nudge people to look up and feel the sheer scale of the universe and all of its wonder.
I hope they walk away with a little bit more of an appreciation of the universe that they live in, the beauty of it, the elegance, how little we know, and how those gaps in our knowledge let wonder into our lives.
The next Astronomy on Tap event is tomorrow at Black Hammer Brewing on Bryant Street. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, we are taking a look at the nominees for the 2026 Golden Globes, airing right here on KPIX. Stay tuned. All right, award season coming up, and the film industry is getting ready to shine a light on 2025's brightest stars. Golden Globe nominations were announced this morning. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another led the pack with 9 nominations, Best Picture and Best Actor nods for Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro. Del Toro will also be honored at tonight's SF Film Awards in Fort Mason. Another Bay Area shout out, Ryan Coogler's Sinners got 7 nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actor for star Michael B. Jordan. The Golden Globes are going to air right here on KPIX on January 11th. All right, that is going to do it for us at noon. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then choose Bay Area.